Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fuel for Success. This is episode number 106. It's so good to see everybody here this morning. 106, what a number. Wow. And I had my whiteboard set up. I had to switch my computers here at the last second, but I just added one little hash mark. That was my plan from yesterday.
It makes it easy on you, doesn't it, Rev?
Yeah. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm blessed, man. I am blessed today. I'm happy to be alive. Got up early, got my workout in, and ready for a good day. Excited about Fuel for Success. I'm also excited about our Soul Winners show. I don't know how many of our Fuel for Success viewers know this, but every Wednesday at 10 a.m., you and I do a 30-minute live talk show about soul winning, just to teach people about outreach and soul winning and discipleship and follow-up and Bible studies and Mission 25. So thankful for what God is doing at Mission 25. There's a lot of momentum right now. You and I just actually are about 90% finished with our process for people launching local Mission 25s in their area. So we're excited about that, man. We see a day of there literally being thousands of Mission 25s going across the world. So I'm excited about that, man. Sherry's asking for us to come to an Atlanta in 2015. Sherry, it's on our list. We haven't committed yet. We're doing 10 next year, and we made a list. And so we're praying over it right now. We're just kind of looking at the schedule, and just to give you a little hope that Atlanta is at least on our wish list. So we'll have to see what happens there, you know. Somebody said they like my shirt, Karen. You can have one, Karen. You can get it at mission25usa.com. You can wear one to when you go out and do outreach, wear one to work, you know. Just don't wear it while you're cleaning the house, man.
That's the only color we have, Sherry.
We're going to get more colors, but right now this is the predominant color. Why, you don't like our color, Sherry?
So I'm just want to give everybody a quick update on the technology here. We're actually working with their technology, and which is why I'm logged in as a different user right now, and I may switch over to the other one because I'm having some serious lag issues getting into their network. So anyway, and I'll be on the with the engineers here either later today or tomorrow, and we'll figure it out. So appreciate everyone's patience. Technology is awesome, and it's challenging at the same time.
Massively. Well, today is about spirituality. This is where we deal with the most important area of our life. You can have all the money in the world. You can have the best marriage. You can have the most well-behaved kids. You can be debt-free. But unless you don't have a relationship with God, you're still going to come up empty. Relationship with God is the secret to real success. Mike will be coming back. So every Wednesday we talk about spirituality. We talk about issues in our spirituality. Hey, Mike, what's going on, buddy? There we go. I got you on the right.
We're gonna play musical chairs for a little bit, and just hey, you know what I was thinking this morning, Matt? This is a little off topic, and I know today's about spirituality, and I can't wait to talk about it. I love a good pen.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? I'm with you. Dude, I'm with you on that. What kind of pen is that?
This is I'm not sure. It says it's a Tool, T-U-L, and it's like a rollerball ink pen, but I just love a clean sheet of paper and a good pen. And you know, a good pen and a piece of paper, they always work.
Always, no matter what. You're right. That's why the average millionaire uses a legal pad.
Because it just works.
Mike, you know what I admire about you is your patience, my friend, because I know that you want to go postal on the technology of Spreecast right now. And I appreciate that you're just giving positive vibe to the pin instead of going off on the technology, man. But you know what, one of my biggest pet peeves, I used to, when I pastored, we had 10 full-time staff members, and we had this office complex and whatever. Listen, do anything you want, just don't take the pins out of my office. You know what I mean? Like that to me is like, it's major. Don't take my pins. I'll even tell Caleb, listen, you can use my pins. You can. You're my son. Put them back. There's nothing worse than losing a good pin. So I'm totally with you, my friend.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily call out my wife, but she used to be terrible, and not intentionally, but she would like use somebody's pen and then sort of absent-mindedly she'd just drop it in her purse. And about every 3 months we'd have this big bundle of pens, you know.
You know, another pet peeve is leaving the cap off of my pen. That I can't relate with people that do that. I don't get it. It's like, how long does it take? Like, let's time it right now. You ready? Pick it up, put it on. What, maybe 2 seconds of your life? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I know
So,
Carol's like, this is about spirituality, my friend. Tell us what we have in store today, man.
well, we know that spirituality is such an important part of our lives overall, and Fuel for Success deals with all different facets of our life that help us be successful, and spirituality is a key, which is why it's right in the middle. It's like the keystone, drops in place. And so let's talk about some spiritual issues today. Clearly, we've got questions. We might have answers. But at the same time, anybody that's in the chat over here, go ahead and feel free to ask questions. Type them in the chat box, and we'd love to hear from you. First question that we have in the queue is, how do we get more peace in our life? We know that peace is obviously a fruit of the Spirit, but how do we get more peace in our life?
Well, avoid technology. So,
Dude, I just about did a spit take.
just about spit your coffee on your computer. Mike, I'm a believer in peace. I believe peace is the indicator. I believe it. I'm telling you, if there's one thing, if you were sitting down having coffee with me right now, we were just chit-chatting, and you said, Matt, how do you just know when God is speaking to you or when God is not speaking to you, or when you're supposed to do something or not supposed to do something? Mike, I'm telling you, listen, the indicator for me on everything is peace. And how do you get more peace? Well, it's simple. Number one is you have to get in God's presence. The Bible speaks a lot about peace. In fact, I'll give you a statistic here, my friend. The word peace is in the Bible well over 400 times. Like, peace is a major subject. And what we need to do is we need to understand that the number one way to get peace is to be right with God and to be in God's will. Because there's no peace outside of God's presence. There's not. When you're not right with God and you're not where you should be with God, there'll automatically be an absence of peace. You'll know it. Things will start to feel tight, tense. And so that's number one. Number two, let's give a Bible answer. The Bible says, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. So the real secret, he even said perfect peace. He said, I'll keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Our thoughts literally are going to determine how much peace we have in our life. Some people that allow themselves to think negative or think a lot of, maybe thoughts of just worry, anxiety, this takes away our peace. I really believe that if we could learn how to think, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, think in a state of gratitude, in a state of what's right instead of what's wrong, in a state of, listen, as simple as it was, you picking up that pen and saying, you know what, I love a good pen. As funny as we had with that, and as simple as those little things, believe it or not, in the middle of something that's tense or frustrating, is the beginning step of changing your energy and centering you back into a state of peace, of gratitude. I think that when you're counting your blessings every day, it's going to put you in a state of peace. I think that making good decisions, trusting God for wisdom, putting God first. When you put God first, here's what happens. You ready? All things are added to you. Your steps, the Bible says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. So if you put God first, trust God, and live in God's will, you're going to have peace. Now, when you don't have peace, I've always taught people to pause, because peace is the indicator. The Bible says, follow peace. Like, you've got to pursue peace. Peace is going to be your guide. Peace is going to tell you whether something is right or something is wrong. So when somebody says, I don't have peace about something, then you better pause. That's my opinion. How about you, Mike? You need a different take on that?
Well, I was actually thinking about when we asked the question, I was thinking about Hebrews 12:14, which says, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man, excuse me, without which no man shall see the Lord." And that's less about finding peace and more about how important peace really is, because it's pretty clear there. You know, that verse talks about holiness, but it also in the same verse talks about following peace and being peaceful about the way that we approach things in our life. For example, holiness. So, and I think it's important to have that attitude and that that reaction of peace. It's a fruit of the Spirit, right? We're supposed to have peace and long suffering and react with peace and first give a soft answer. The Bible talks a lot about those concepts. I actually also wanted Al
Go
asked
ahead.
a follow-up question. It says, what about when you feel peace? I'm going to pop it up on the screen. When you feel peace about something initially, then later don't feel peace about it. For example, you feel peace about being with a person, and then later you don't feel peace about it. He's asking, how can that happen? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a fan of Al. Like, sign me up. I like Al. Every single day, Al asks good questions. Al, I don't know who you are, my friend, but you're going to be very successful with your life because you get it. You get the value of asking good questions. Real quick, Al, I've had this happen. This is part of life. This is part of the process. I think you're referring to maybe dating, or maybe you had peace about hiring somebody in your business or bringing somebody on your staff, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what kind of decision did I just make, So here's the deal. Al, there's a bigger picture involved in your life and your calling, and that there are times you feel peace about something, and it was one of those things where that relationship was not intended to be a lifelong relationship. So accept that this relationship was just for a season, and that's why you initially had peace. And now that you don't have peace, it's most likely God revealing to you that this is not a lifelong partner. And that's hard for us to accept sometimes, but what I would encourage you is don't get locked up thinking, well, I must not know. Here's what I see a lot of people do, Mike and Al. I see a lot of people, don't misunderstand what I'm about to say, but they way overthink their relationship with God. And please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say, but they're almost too sincere, meaning that you go to the extreme. You go to the extreme as far as if you miss God, or you think, well, man, I just knew God was in that. Okay, yeah, feel that for a minute, but don't let that sidetrack you or cause you to lose your faith. I've seen a lot of people, because they've had situations very similar to what we're talking about, they literally lost faith. They literally lost faith. They became so extreme in their thinking that I say accept things as there are times when we're not going to understand, but we've got to follow that peace. We've got to trust the instinct. We've got to trust our inner gut feeling. And when that happens, Al, you just got to roll with it, run with it, and not let it defeat you or discourage you. And just accept, you know what? Okay, God, I had peace about this. I don't get why I don't now. You're probably revealing to me that this relationship was for a season, so I give you thanks for that season. It was a blessing. Take the good from it, but just don't let it, like, I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say, Al. Don't let it discourage you is what I want to say when that happens. Thanks, Al.
That's good. And also remember that everyone has their own free will, and a person could be on a certain track at a certain point of time, and maybe a year later they've made decisions that take them off that track, and their situation of life and their direction has changed. And so the piece that was there before may now be gone.
Well, yeah, someone could be the right person for you, but make the wrong decisions, and that's tough. That's tough. I mean, the only thing I can tell you is that's happened to me before. And I remember one day I was laying on my floor in agony. I was in agony over this very similar type situation. And I said, God, I do not understand. And you know what he said to me? I will not forget you. That's all he said. So I hold to that. He said, I will not forget you. And so just know that if someone does make bad decisions that's supposed to be in your future, hey, God created the world and there's 7 billion people out there. Hang in there. You'll find another one, my friend.
It's good. Hey, my apologies if I'm delaying a little bit here. I'm dealing with some pretty massive jitter, even though our network connection is good. So I'll be making another call to Spreecast today.
You sound good, Mike.
Cool. So hey, and I appreciate all the comments and everything everybody's making here. Absolutely good stuff. There's a couple of questions down here below. I want to grab Maria's question. And she's asking, how do you stay motivated when you don't live around positive people or church people? So in other words, maybe, because we talked about earlier about having that peace and having that positive attitude. And, how do you deal with it when maybe the people around you are, less than positive?
Well, I think the first thing you do, Maria, is do what you're doing. Go to Fuel for Success and surround yourself, even if it's not in person, with positive people or positive environments. I think the second thing you do is you guard your energy. I was telling someone the other day, there's 3 things I manage in life. I manage time, I manage money, and I manage energy. A lot of people forget the value of managing their energy, and they wonder why they don't have any. So I would say to you, Maria, three quick things. Okay, number one, you can't help how people behave. You can't help how people act. You can't change people. Okay, but you can control your life. So whatever you do, how you stay motivated is by filling your mind with things like this, other things, reading good books, and then praying for God to lead you and send you to the right environment of the right people. And surround yourself with more positive, upbeat people. Remember, you attract what you are. This is tough for us. And I'm not saying in your situation at all, Maria. I'm saying just in life, you usually attract what you are. And so just keep being more of you and more of what you want, and you'll attract that into your life. Water seeks its own level. It just happens. Like you literally, you are what you hang with, and you ever notice that in school, like you should just go to schools and sit and watch kids and watch how kids just, they end up connecting, and usually it's based on like familiar spirits or familiar personalities. So Maria, just make up your mind that you're going to be the most positive person you can be, and don't allow their negative energy to rub off on you, and just make up. There's really a power in making up your mind. And then here's what's going to happen. the more positive you become, the more positive people you're going to attract in your life. It's just the bottom line. You really will.
It's good. And
I
then
love what
there's a
Julia said. I appreciate her sharing that. That was really good. She said there was a point in her life where she could not deal with emotionally draining people. I was going through a lot and I needed to take care of myself first. Remove that. You know what? That is so powerful. That is so powerful, Julia, because I lived this. I actually literally had to cut off some friends because they didn't understand that I was given that season of my life. I literally had to I'd throw my hands in the air and say, you know what? I can't die. I know they're a whole lot more needier than what I'm able to give. And right now, I've got to take care of me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very good. And I appreciate you bringing that up, Julia.
good. Another question that came in from Carol here. How do you keep positive attitude when you disagree with a pastor or spiritual leader? Obviously, we know that authority and submission and those things are powerful spiritual concepts. What do you have to say about that sort of a situation?
Well, the thing of it is, my friends, is that you just simply you control what you think. Like the Bible says, take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. You literally like just let it pass through you. You don't dwell on it. See, when we start dwelling on things is what causes the emotions to get out of control. So you will accept. You can line up 100 of the best leaders in the world, and you can't see someone's wrinkles 100 miles away. But when you start working really close to somebody, you're dealing with, they're called men of God. They're men, they're human. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. And you accept, you know what? I'm not going to agree. You don't agree with your spouse and everything. You don't agree with your kids. You'll never find one human being that you agree with on everything. So that alone, just kind of putting it in perspective, helps you keep a good positive energy. And then let it go. Like, don't dwell on it. Don't worry about it. You know you can't change it. Just take the good and live your life. Go love your family. There's a lot of things in our churches we can't control. We can't fix. Believe me, I know. I've been there. I've seen it. We just can't. There's some people we cannot fix. And in that case, man, just get back to living your life. Don't allow all of your energy and stress. And I'm not saying you do it all, Carol. I'm saying just in general with the question here. Just get back to living your life. Get back to enjoying life. Do what you love and say, you know what, I can't change this leader. I'm going to pray for them, pray for them, bless them, serve them, do what you can. But when you don't agree, it's either like this. It literally is like this. If it's situations that are like major that conflict with values, you got to walk. Literally. If it's that type of disagreement, because the Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? There's a power in unity and agreement, like really. But when it comes to just like, maybe style of leadership or style for a philosophy difference, approach maybe, but if it's a value, if you're really passionate about the homeless and your pastor tells you you're not allowed to bring homeless people to church, I'd have a hard time being the one to tell you to stay. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother topic.
On the other hand, of course, you don't really know if you're submitted to your authority until you do disagree. So
that's a very good point.
Hey, I think we jump to our next question that we have in the queue here. We've got what? Oh, we got plenty of time. The Bible says to lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily distract us or beset us. How can we lay aside weights and sins?
This is something, Mike, that I think all of us need to pay attention to, extremely pay attention to, because the context of that verse is speaking of us all running a race.
Right.
Like not just walking, like running a race, meaning like our Christianity is fast paced. It's intense. Though if you live Christianity the way you're supposed to, it's gonna feel like running a race. It's not laying in a hammock. It's running a race where you're sweating and you're panting and you're tired and you're running a race. It's a race. There's intensity involved. There's competition involved. So Christianity requires that we lay aside weights. So how we lay it down is first identify. So I would literally sit down and make a list of everything that's weighing you down. Like what's keeping you from like blowing it up? What's keeping you from exploding in your Christianity? What's keeping you from starting that ministry? What's weighing you down? What's keeping you from being happy? What's keeping you from that peace of mind? What's keeping you from just, being that Christian or person that has faith? What is weighing you down? Once you identify what it is, cut it, destroy it, get rid of it. The Bible says lay it aside. Like literally, you have to eliminate it. You have to like cut it like you would, kill a snake, cut its head off. It's got to go. Like anything that weighs you down, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a friend, whether it be doubt, whether it be bitterness. Some of the things that are weighing you down are bitterness. Some of the things that are weighing you down are guilt. Some of you, the thing that's holding you back is guilt of something you did 2 years ago or a month ago. That's something you got to lay down. You've got to lay down the fear. Fear is a weight. Negativity is a weight. People, relationships. Do you know how many people are not spiritually thriving because they're in a wrong relationship? Mike, I wholeheartedly believe that almost everything traces back to either healthy or unhealthy relationships. Toxic relationships are killing us. Being in the wrong relationships. Now I'm not just talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, or I'm talking about friendships. You just got to gauge it. You got to see it. And I like what Carol said. Money can be a weight. Financial problems. Your take on that, Mike?
Well, I think sometimes massive technology failure can be a weight that besets us and holds us back from winning a race. And that's pretty much what's stopping me right now. But I'm following peace with all men.
Vent, Mike. Vent right now. Sometimes you
Okay, I have got 3 separate network connections running at the same time on completely like 2 different providers on 3 different networks, and I can't get a solid audio feed. I'm like, really? There's a core problem with the infrastructure, and I'm going to light them up today. I don't get angry very often, but I'm sort of about to lose my temper.
Well, you're doing
okay, I'm
good.
better now.
You sound.
Yeah.
Maria said, "What if it's a really good job, but you're not passionate and you don't have another one to replace it?" Okay, ready for this? If it's a good job and you're making good money, remember, money is a tool. Money is a resource. So that job might be what causes you to still be able to do your passion. Remember this. I want to encourage people because I believe that we should follow our passion. I wholeheartedly believe. I believe life is too short to do one thing that you don't like. I mean, obviously there's things that we got to do like clean the garage that you might not like. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, sooner or later, I'm going to give you 2 angles real quick in 20 seconds. Angle number 1 is there's a side of me that says, look, life's too short to waste 40 hours a week doing something you don't love, that your heart doesn't beat for. However, I did read a really good book one day called The Other 8 Hours. And it talked about you sleep 8 hours, you work 8 hours, you still have 8 hours. So like, if it's a good job and it gives you cash and financial security, then that is enough to cause you to do your passion when those 8 hours are over. So that's one school of thought. The other school of thought is walk right in there and give your 2-week notice today. what I'm saying? But that's obviously, please don't do that. I'm just, man, you know what, Marie, we'll go back into this maybe Thursday because this is a good one for our entrepreneurship show.
For
So
sure.
we're going to this Thursday. So catch us Thursday, and maybe Mike and I will piggyback and talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just quickly in 5 seconds, how many people have a 5-year plan? If you
How
don't
many
have a
people
5-year
what?
plan, have a 5-year plan. Where are you gonna be in
Yeah.
5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? If you haven't put the thought into that, then it's hard to understand. Anyway, we can touch on that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys. Don't forget, in 30 minutes, we're going to be doing our Soul Winner show. You'll see the link if you are a subscribed member of Spreecast, as you should be. It's free. That way you automatically get our emails anytime we set up a Spreecast show. Go subscribe to it. That way it's set. It's in your inbox. All you got to do is click the link every day. Or just if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook, we put that on there as well. We'll be putting the link for the Soul Winner show here after this show. So tomorrow we'll be visiting with you again about business and entrepreneurship. God bless, my friends, and live it up.
See y'all later.